All right, I'm Nick. Today we're going to take a few minutes, probably do some rambling, get a little off topic, and we're going to discuss Daniel and give you an overview of why he fell out of the kayak after landing the tuna. Things happen, mistakes were made. It's just part of the game. We'll go into that stuff more. I want to start off with, this is Daniel's third trip with the business this year alone. We have a pretty good rapport. I know I can be hard on him. One of the first things I say to him after he flips the kayak, once I make eye contact with him and I know he's up next to the kayak holding on, which is seconds, I told him, don't drop the rod. It was still actually hooked to the fish, and I had to cut the fluorocarbon. You don't want that line getting wrapped around his feet or anything like that. If he does drop it, lots of things go into it, okay? But it wasn't from an insensitive standpoint about the gear. We have had clients flip offshore. We've had clients drop rods and reels. I don't care. Gear is replaceable. We have actually had, I think, 3 people lose Saragosas, right? So we're looking at fully rigged rod, reel, and line, $400 to $500 in equipment, and I've never ever billed a single person or even mentioned them losing it or the price of it, because that doesn't matter. It's a business asset. It's replaceable. We can write it off. It does not matter. Safety is first, okay? So that's not where that statement came from. It was still hooked to the fish. And if he dropped that rod and somehow the fish got out and took off, then we got line wrapped around feet. We have problems. Maybe that dolphin eats it. Lots goes into it, but that's a different story for a different day. Now, we get a lot of clients like, hey, well, can I have another rod to do this just in case it pops up? And the answer is always no. We keep the clients rigged to flip because, like Daniel, things happen that are unpredictable. You know, we always refer to kayak fishing as controlled chaos. That's what I say to everybody, it's controlled chaos. You are your own boating system for the most part, unless you have a guide next to you to tell you what to do, right? So we keep them rigged to flip. Especially if we have more than one client. Maybe somebody drifts off to the left to go to the bathroom or whatever they're doing and they fall out. I'd rather that rod fall out of the kayak and disappear than have a leash on it, get wrapped around their leg, and be a concern. I want it out of the way, gone. All they got to do is get up, get back in the kayak. And we'll do a video on him re-entering the kayak later on. I already know this one's going to be a bit lengthy, and I wanted to separate everything so you guys don't have to try to watch a 30-minute video. Now, I will overlay some video throughout this so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and I have some notes over here. We'll go over the reasons that Daniel fell out, or give a good idea. You guys will be able to see it in these videos, and we'll slow it down and try to put maybe a still shot in there so you can see the moment of, oh shit. He said, oh shit, right? Conditions, relatively calm. You got probably 1 foot rollers, which that's the surf report was probably 0.8 feet, factor the wind in. It gets bumpy in the Gulf. We don't have big swells like the West Coast. We have just wind-blown choppiness, which means it's very inconsistent. And if you take your eyes off it and you are used to bobbing and weaving, and then you bob and the water weaves, you're gone, okay? We've actually had another gentleman do it while holding a red snapper. He fell out of the kayak. He was turned to the right. A wave hit him, and he fell out of the kayak backwards, just like Daniel did. So, perfect storm, conditions, bad spot, off you go. So, Daniel had just fought the hardest fish of his life in reality, right? Most of the clients have never caught a large saltwater fish. Even though Daniel has gone off and caught red snapper, they fight straight down. You have a tuna, which was a great sized tuna for the area. Typically our fish range 25, 30 pounds. That was a good fish, okay? The dolphins had the fish spooked. The fish fought extremely hard. We actually had it close to the kayak pretty quick. The dolphins came up, it spooked it, it took off again, and that's one of the reasons it took so long. Daniel's technique was not the best. Truthfully speaking, just being blunt, he actually didn't listen very well. If you go back, and I'll put a link up here and below, if you watch the tuna video, I told him to do things and he would do other things. And that stuff puts more pressure on you. Fighting the fish from the side, that means your arm is fighting them the whole time. If you get that rod out front, let the fish do its stuff out here, it's a lot better for you. It takes less effort. If you watch the tuna or the sailfish video when I was reeling them in, there's no effort involved for the most part, right? Let's see here. You know, really excited, didn't listen well, and he was burnt out. You watch the video, he said multiple times he was tired, and that comes back down to technique, okay? You guys can see here, after that fish was gaffed, he was kind of sunk down in the seat, right? He's kind of sunk down in that seat. He gets the reel handle. He told me when we were talking about it, I got to see it on video, that the reel handle was stuck in the life jacket somehow. When he pulled that rod in, he opens the bail, and he said that the reel handle was stuck in the life jacket, trying to get out, but he was leaning backwards. Now remember, he's turned right. The seat is here. His body is more than halfway across the seat. So as you guys can see in this clip, as he's leaning backwards trying to get away from that reel, all he had to do was this, right? But he's tired, he's excited, he's trying to look at the fish, he wants to see what's going on, and that controlled chaos gets you every time. He keeps leaning backwards, and a little tiny roller, and that's all it takes. If all your weight is backwards, I mean, if someone pushes me barely and I'm leaning backwards, you don't have the core strength to overcome that. I don't know anyone that's really in that good of shape other than like 5 people. It takes a lot. Once you're back here, you don't have any control of your body weight. There's no leverage in the kayak. It's tipped up, and it's really easy to go over. So that little 1-foot roller is all it took. His weight was out of the back of the kayak. If he'd been leaning backwards on the seat like he should have been, it wouldn't even matter. Or even if he was just leaning forward on the balls of his feet and the front of and his butt's on the front of the seat, that wave would have just rolled through the kayak, no big deal. But because he was turned to the right and backwards, it was very, very easy for him to go swimming. Now, the idea, as people in the comments, it's just the comments section, how do you do that? I mean, that could happen to anybody. The GoPro doesn't really do a good job of showing you how large waves are or what's going on. You really have to look at the video and reference the kayak. Remember, a GoPro somehow gets a 13-foot kayak completely in the video from like 7 feet away. So how do you gauge how big a wave is? Think about that, okay? So it's a learning curve for everybody. It's not when, it's if. Everybody says that you fall in, you flip, knock on some wood. Anything is possible, okay? He didn't make a big mistake, but it doesn't take a big mistake. And things happen. So don't think that it won't happen to you, because there's a really, really, really good chance it does. I don't think you did a bad job. Inexperience, excitement, being tired, those things lead to mistakes, okay? So controlled chaos. Keep everything where you want it. You should always know what's going on. You should always have your eyes out on the horizon. Anytime you're focused on something like this and doing random things, you're not paying attention to your surroundings. And in Daniel's case, it got him. Now, he didn't lose anything. Jamie got the fish bag. I think Daniel had a Coke bottle floating around. Everything was recovered. Glasses, hat, never moved. Overall success. Tuna was landed. We filleted it. He took it home. I'm sure it tasted great. And that's that. Now, I know I did a bit of rambling. I appreciate you guys watching. If you have questions, let me know. If you fell out of your kayak, leave it in the comments section. We will do a video on re-entry. He did a fantastic job. And it'll be good for you guys to see, because everyone should see how to do it. All right. Thanks for watching.
What I'm talking about.
Oh shit! Yeah. Hold on to that rod. Oh shit! Yeah. Hold on to that rod.
Because I got hooked to a fish. Okay, Jamie, backpedal over there. Did you get down video?
I got wrapped up.
I think so.
Hey.
Wrapped up in the thing.
No, you're okay. Don't worry about it. I'm cutting it. You're free. Don't worry about it. You get the rod out the water. Jamie will come get it. Don't worry about flipping the kayak just yet, okay?
I'm trying to get the rod. Here we go.
That's a good way. Okay, so we're going to document this. Daniel caught his first Blackfin Tuna, and then he decided, after I gaffed it, that he wanted to hop in the water, because that's the cool thing to do.